I'm going to wait for PJ to get his camera going here as he adjusts his microphone that's currently hot.
I'm so sorry. I mean, it is what it is.
All right, so you can now, everybody can now see PJ Zuko if we are streaming.
Okay.
All right. Let's just start off. We'll preface it with this.
I didn't get my pre-show hair thing.
I'm wearing just a t-shirt and a hat. Cam looks extremely snuggly in a sweatshirt, sweatpants, some nice Jordans on, and a hat. PJ Zuko looks like he's ready to go to the Met Gala over here. Got a button-down shirt on. He's got the sleeves rolled up like a quarter of the way.
Yeah. Got to have the quarter. Quarter roll. Oh, for sure.
So he's got the sleeves rolled up on the button-down. A nice like design on the white button-down. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're wearing blue jeans today.
Yeah, why not? It's comfortable. It's a comfortable day. Nice. It's like.
What's her name?
What's her name?
I can't share that yet. No. No. This is really thriving in the best part of the year to me. I mean, because like I can't wear this a month ago. I can't wear this like 2 weeks ago. Or if I do, I am very mad at myself come about 11:30, like not even afternoon, like 11:30, just like why I'm so uncomfortable. Why do it's too hot? Why'd I even wear this and try and walk outside today? But now you got like the perfect, like low 70s, high 60s throughout the day. I mean, you can wear what you want to. You can be comfortable, man. So I mean, this is one of my favorite shirts right now, to be honest with you. So I woke up, look at the weather every single morning because I'm 97 years old, and I was like, all right.
What's the first thing you look at in the morning?
My ceiling.
No, I mean the back of my eyelids.
So you're a back sleeper then, huh?
The back of my eyelids.
No, I'm not a back sleeper. I just roll over.
Oh, like first
day.
No. First thing that's kind of depressing.
I would hope you
were more excited to come here.
No, I've always been like
eyes
that.
Open, he's like, I gotta go see these guys again.
Wow.
No, I've always forever have been like that. Just like another day. It's school, college. It was always like that. I'm not a morning person. I love sleeping. Let's put it like that.
Sleep's nice,
I was gonna say that was gonna be my next thing. Is it always another morning, or is it like another mid-afternoon?
Yeah. I love sleeping.
No, what's the first thing you look at in the morning? Like, because I know for most of us, it's our phone.
Yeah, I mean that is
First thing you look at is the phone.
Nah.
If you talk to anyone who
how
knows...
many things do you do before you open your phone for the first time in the morning?
I go use the bathroom, brush my teeth, wash my hands, all that, and then I go eat. Well, try to find food.
And you don't touch your phone the entire time?
The whole time?
No, like
do you have an alarm clock? Or do you use your phone as the alarm clock?
Yeah, my alarm clock goes off, but you know what I do? I just press the volume button.
Oh, so you keep it down, like you don't even look at it.
You never look at it.
No, I don't look at it.
That's too dangerous for me because I have developed a thing now where when my alarm goes off, I will reach with my left hand and I can turn that alarm and hit that snooze without even like cognitively being aware of it.
Mm-hmm. My phone, what I use for my alarm clock, is on the other side of my room. Mm-hmm. Like not even room. It's on the other side of my room. I was
gonna let it slide.
Yeah. No, for sure. So like I have my bed in one corner, and then on the completely opposite corner, as far away as possible, is my alarm. Because I just can't.
No, I got personally attacked one time.
There's so much stuff in my sleep, man.
Somebody told me hitting the snooze button in the morning is like the first decision of your day is to quit, and I was like, dang.
Wow.
It's like, dang.
Interesting.
So I try not to hit that snooze button, but no, like, I mean, first thing I do is look at my phone because it's like, I don't know if like something blew up overnight. If like you guys are calling me being like, hey, all of our stations are off the air.
Yeah.
We have an emergency. Like that's the first thing I do. And so it's usually a relief when it's just like some news updates, a couple of text messages, like that's fine. Some Twitter things, it's good. I mean, that's always the first thing. I don't really look at the weather though, because I mean, it's pretty much standard. In South Georgia, it's going to be from April until late October. It's just going to be hot. Just go ahead and accept that it's going to be hot. Once it hits late October into November, it's going to be perfect outside. And then like maybe for like 2-3 months a year, do we consider it cold?
I don't know, because it's like,
and I'll still wear shorts.
It's not even fake fall. Like I'm not even calling, because I get what you're talking about with fake fall. That's like early.
PJ, it's like 74 degrees outside right now.
No, I understand. But what I'm talking about is like why I check the weather is a lot of times, especially this time of year, well, like 2 weeks ago, we had a week that was like really pretty dang cold. We had like a cold front come in and a storm and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week was pretty warm.
Mhm.
So like, I don't know. I've been down here. I'm used to it to a certain extent, but I also I do not like feeling like way too hot. It's just so uncomfortable to me. And it's right on the edge. Like I'm always right on the edge of that. And I love wearing long sleeve shirts and stuff like that. So like I have a lot of long sleeve shirts. I have a lot of button ups, things like that. So
I need to get you on the t-shirt game.
T-shirts very odd to me. And what?
No. I'm not even talking like the graphic tees. I'm saying like you need like
I'm not even saying that.
you need like 4 t-shirts, like a gray one, a green one, a black one.
I'm not even talking about like
and another gray one.
The style, the design of the shirt. I mean, the fit of the shirt is I am a very awkward build. Okay. And hopefully
you get that body dysmorphia out of here.
Well, that's the thing. Hopefully we can change that with a little bit of, CrossFit.
Yeah.
Once
right.
I get in the gym a little more consistently with you
You
guys.
just gotta come.
For sure. Well, I'm going to basketball tonight. Anyway.
Speaking of which, you need to invite Cam to basketball one night so he can go out there and torch y'all.
Let's go, man.
Where are you playing?
Well, I can't really say that. No. I need
Church league.
I need to go. Yeah. It's like an open thing, but like I need to go and see because we have a problem where especially here around the area, it's like you go and you have decent numbers and you're all right and everything's fine. It's open for like 2.5 hours. And then all of a sudden there's like 35 people there every week, 35, 40 people. You can only get like one game in the time limit. And it's
but what do y'all play to?
Well, I mean, it started at 15, but then it gone down to 12. Yeah. And then once it's
once
it's like 35 people, it goes down to 10. So it's like you keep going
like
down
king
more.
Of the court, like whoever wins just stands on the court, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, just gotta win.
So this is what I'm saying is you need to invite Cam and you'll never leave the court.
It's true. I don't know.
Just gotta win.
There's some good guys out there, but it depends. It depends.
I'm trying to think of how to segue to this sports talk, but I don't know. I mean, PJ looks nice today. It's kind of shocking when you see what we typically wear in here, which is just like shorts, t-shirts, and then PJ walks in and we're like, man, like I said, what's her name? So, I mean, I think PJ might. I don't know if there's actually basketball tonight, Cam. I think maybe PJ saying that. That's why he got so nervous when we asked him where he was playing. He's like, oh,
well, no. It's a lot like the rest of mine. I got to keep it hidden, man. I can't give away too much information.
Mysterious.
You don't
not
want people knowing
mysterious.
your spots. I understand.
PJ very mysterious. Not mysterious. This is my segue. Not mysterious is the future of Justin Fuente. He is out.
Yeah.
At Virginia Tech, and one that I think we pretty much all saw coming. So now I want to pull this open, but the major significant jobs that are open right now, Virginia Tech joins the ranks of the LSU, USC, potentially Florida, maybe if something weird happens. And then what I also think is cool is like because TCU is still open, some other jobs are still open. As these jobs start getting filled, what vacuums those then create? Does Lane Kiffin take one of those jobs? If he does, who's the next head coach at Ole Miss, right? Does James Franklin take the head coaching job at one of those spots? If he does, where or who goes to Penn State? But I wanted to get this from you guys. Power rank the head coaching openings: LSU, Virginia Tech, USC, and Washington, because Jimmy Lake got fired yesterday as well.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to me because it's so easy. I want to just be like LSU's number one because I feel like it is.
It is.
I feel like it is. Then again, if you like USC, to me, maybe I'm thinking 10 years ago, it's so easily recruitable for young recruits that want to go out there, play in LA. I mean, play one of the most premier college football programs in college football, like period. And if you're the coach, you just need to go out there and have success in the Pac-12 South. That's not that difficult. I don't know how it's been that difficult. I know you have high expectations, and we all were surprised that Clay Hilton was always on the verge of getting fired from there each time he lost a game. It seemed like every time they lost, it was like, oh man, he's about to. That's wild. I'm happy he is where he is now for sure. But I just obviously the stress level was high. But then again, just be successful in the Pac-12 South, man. You really got to go out and beat and get past Oregon, and that's kind of it. So if you can establish yourself down there really well, recruit really well, I feel like that's challenging for the top spot. I will say that's number 2, though. LSU, obviously, premier recruiting as well. SEC West, you have all the names, all the history, the whole state of Louisiana to go out and get, and then of course the whole Southeast.
Sure.
Really, you can recruit all around the country with the LSU brand as well, and just with everything that's been built up. So I feel like they're in a really good spot. So LSU 1, USC 2. I'll take Virginia Tech 3 actually, because you have the history, the tradition, the 10-win, 11-win Virginia Tech teams and programs aren't that far away. Like, they aren't that far in the past. So I feel like you can build up. And, you have one of the best atmospheres, one of the best entrances in all of college football, if not the best. And, of course, you can have that aid you as well. And the ACC is a lot like the Pac-12 in the sense of you got to get past Clemson. And I know that's a tough ask for 99% of years, but not necessarily this year. But you got to get past Clemson. Not a whole lot else you have to really get past anymore. So Virginia Tech, number 3, Washington there, number 4.
What about you, Cam?
I'll put USC number 1.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I would put USC number 1 only because
you guys live in those Reggie Bush days.
I'm kind of, yes, but also it's kind of like what PJ said. They're in the Pac-12, and you don't have to play Bama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia every single year. You're just playing Oregon. And I think as a coach, that should intrigue any coach. You're in LA. Obviously, you're in Southern Cal, and nice scenery for one, good weather, good things could go out there in Southern Cal, but it's good recruiting as well. They got players out there in California. I'll put USC number 1 because of that. You can make the college football playoffs potentially every year. I don't think you can do that in the SEC West. Obviously, I have LSU number 2. It's still a great university, but if you look at USC and LSU, if you compare them the past 10 years, they're not too far away from each other outside of the national championship season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do LSU number 2, Virginia Tech number 3. Obviously, they still have tradition and all that good stuff. Like you said, one of the best entrances in college football, which I learned about this year from you guys. And then Washington number 4. I do not know too much about Washington. Not going to speak on them too much, but I know they've had a couple of NFL players come out from there.
All right. So there are multiple different factors. I understand you guys. It's kind of like looking at it through the prism of, the city you live in and the players who have come through in their past. It's a job, right? Like any other job. What's the number one thing you're looking at? Money. Like, let's be honest here.
Like, of course.
Yeah, let's all be honest here. Like, it's the number one thing you look at is money. It's like, pageantry, tradition. No, man, you look at what your checks are going to look like when they hit your bank account every couple of weeks, right? Depending on if you're one of those bi-weekly people or if you're lucky enough to get paid every week or, once a month, whatever it is. Here are the top 5 coaches in the SEC in terms of salary. Nick Saban makes $9.5 million entering this year. Ed Orgeron at LSU was number 2 at $9 million a year. Then you have Dan Mullen at 7.5, Jimbo Fisher at 7.5, and Kirby Smart at 7.1. The Pac-12, no coaches make $9 million a year. David Shaw at Stanford is the highest paid coach in the Pac-12 by $3 million. He makes $8.9 million a year at Stanford. UCLA's Chip Kelly is the second highest paid at 5.6. Kyle Whittingham at Utah makes 5.2. Way down at number 4 entering this year was Clay Helton, 4.8.
Yeah.
So you're making half as much money. Obviously, contracts are going to be different, but from everything we've heard, LSU is about to break somebody off.
Right.
You're basically making half as much money to be the head coach at USC than you would be to be the head coach at LSU. Now, this is I'm on smartasset.com/taxes/California tax calculator. I put in $4 million. Would you care to guess how much money you are paying in taxes being in California for 1 year at $4 million?
About 2.5.
Yeah.
You are paying $2.04 million in taxes.
Yeah.
To be in California. So you shake it all out after taxes. If you sign for more than $4 million a year, you're making $1.9 million.
Crazy.
You guys want to know why you're not getting the elite of the elite head coaches in California right now, or maybe ever again? That's why. it's so expensive. You basically have to double their money. I mean, to be fair, and I'd have to look up Louisiana's, but it seems like you'd probably have to pay somebody 33 to 40% more than what LSU or some of these other schools, Lord knows Texas or Florida, because there's no state income tax, can pay these coaches. You're having to just add that on top. If they want to go get one of these guys, which is why I don't think USC is going to get one of these huge names out there, and probably why they stuck with a guy like Clay Helton as long as possible. Everyone's like, why is he still there? Why is he still there? Nothing against Clay Helton. It seemed like that was always the story, right?
Yeah.
You can't inherently afford to go out and get somebody. Clay Helton said this in his introductory press conference at Georgia Southern. He's making $800,000, right? And he was making $4 million, which we just determined was really 1.9. And he's saying, and I don't have to pay California taxes on everything, my property tax, all of that. Maybe it's not that big of a difference, right? Versus like the cost of living in Statesboro versus Los Angeles.
True.
Right. So when I'm looking at these coaching openings, and I'm looking at USC, and you're looking at securing your future, plus it's a job that people are going to expect a lot out of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That might be 4th on my list.
Whew.
Whereas if you're at Virginia Tech, it's a program that you can build. They're going to be patient with you because they went from their greatest head coach of all time to a failed experiment. You're going to have patience, plus the ACC working on new TV contract deals, maybe looking at expansion. Who knows? They're part of the alliance right now. But with the 12-team playoff coming, Virginia Tech is a team I think that could compete for that every single year. And then Washington, I think that's a highly underrated job.
Underrated, yeah.
Awesome campus. It's the state school. The only thing is kind of like Mario Cristobal at Oregon is the only thing is you are just at a significant recruiting disadvantage because you don't have a ton of great recruits in your home state. You have to go outside your borders to get players. So, I mean, honestly, if I'm looking at it, I'd probably go LSU, Virginia Tech, and Washington, flip those back and forth. Maybe I'd say Virginia Tech number 2. And I have USC down at 4. I mean, you can't keep living off the past. When was the last time USC was a significant contender?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like what? Mark Sanchez?
Man, I don't know.
The highest.
I feel like
I know there was that game like in 2016 or 15 where Jalen Hurts was a freshman. And they came out and they were doing the thing where they were like crawling onto the field and they just get absolutely demolished by Alabama.
I want to say it was 16 because I know
you had a few years there with Sam Darnold and
their highest with Sam.
But I'm
was
talking
3.
about
Hilton
like
was 4.
People thought they had a chance to compete for a national championship.
They were
the
top
last
5,
time they
top 10
could
that
compete.
whole year.
Yeah, that was Pete Carroll.
So was Dan Mullen and
Mississippi
Dak
State.
Prescott.
Yeah,
that was 1 year though. I mean, I think
they had 2 good years on the
They had
Hilton
2
where
or
they went
3.
10-3, 11-3. Cotton Bowl, L, Rose Bowl, W. But outside of that, I mean, their highest ranking with Hilton was 3 and 4.
So both of those years, you had 2 losses going into a bowl game at least.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm saying throughout the year, you were talking about projected and possibly making a national championship or at least making a run at one. I mean, normally 2-loss teams, that's where they are in the middle of the year. You know, they're still talking about the possibility of that. But no, I mean, I know what you mean for sure, and that is a big hit, especially with those taxes. That is one thing I did not think about and forget about. But also that comes down to, obviously you have those taxes, comes down to the university to be able to go out. If they really want to go out and get a premier coach, they know where their checkbook is going to have to be.
But look who it's been since Pete Carroll. It was Lane Kiffin, and that was kind of an experimental hire.
Right. At the time.
Steve Sarkisian, that was a reclamation project kind of a deal where, I mean, he coming from Washington, he had done a good job up there. And then, or I guess I should say it's become a reclamation project for Steve Sarkisian folling USC.
That was before. Yeah.
And so it's just, we obviously know what happened in a year and a half with Steve Sarkisian, and then it was Clay Helton.
Right.
I just don't, USC, I think they're going to be priced out of getting one of these huge coaches. Maybe a Luke Fickell, but I think he's making like 2.5 mil to be at Cincinnati right now.
Somewhere around there. So yeah,
I mean, you probably have to break him off. You'd probably have to be like close to 9 or 10 to really make it worth him moving out to USC because he's about to join a Power 5 conference. So I just find it fascinating. We got to take a quick break. We're a little bit over. We'll come back. We'll talk some more about this next right here on Second Down. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. We crunched the numbers during the break, and just using the $4 million mark as a metric, you would basically be taking home $600,000 extra a year to be the coach in Louisiana versus being a coach in California. Again, making that $4 million a year. So, I mean, over the life of a contract, I mean, it's USC. I don't know what the donors look like out there. I don't know what that cash flow's looking like for the head coach. I know what it looks like at LSU.
Yeah.
And it is what you need.
Flowing. Yeah.
What you need. And I know Matt Moscona came on our show when the news broke that Ed Orgeron and LSU would be parting ways at the end of the season. And he said that LSU per capita has the most NFL players. I think Georgia has that right now. My man Todd Holcomb with the AJC is correct. But still, right there. And I think Georgia and LSU share a very, very similar trait where it's you are the predominant college of your state. Whereas USC is like you're competing with a bunch of schools in California.
No doubt.
Georgia, you're competing with Georgia Tech. And right now when it comes to football, I don't know how big of a competition that is when it comes to getting recruits. Like, I think Georgia's more so worried about Auburn and Alabama and Florida coming into the state, Ohio State, Notre Dame coming in and scraping away the recruits they want versus Georgia Tech. Louisiana, there's no other Power 5 school, right? You're competing against Louisiana, Tulane, in terms of people in your state.
Right.
Now, will Georgia come in and grab a player every now and then? Yeah, they did with Cedric Van Pran, their starting center. Came and got him out of there, kind of like what they did with Nakobe Dean, where they went into Mississippi and got the number one player out of the state of Mississippi, and now you look how that's turning out. But I just think there's such an advantage with being just that you're the one Power 5 team. And the kids growing up, much like I think it should be for Texas. I know we talk about all the schools Texas has to recruit against. That's such a giant state that it's basically like 4 different states.
Mm-hmm.
But where you are at Texas, you should not be losing any of those recruiting battles for kids near you, because it's such a cult out there that those kids grow up and it's hook 'em. Like, you should not be losing any of those battles. But Louisiana, it's very much the same way.
Right.
I mean, there are so many, just talking to people who work out there are so many schools that are the Tigers, kind of like the Bulldogs in Georgia, right? And there's so many schools out there who wear purple and gold, right? It's just, you shouldn't be missing out on those. I think that's the best opening right now. And that's the one that I think, more so than any of the other jobs, is the Mr. Still Your Coach, where they can pretty much go to 120, I'd say, FBS programs and say, we're taking your coach. Yeah. And maybe more. I don't know.
And even if they say, oh, yeah, are you sure? And then they just dump that load of money on the desk and say, yep.
Let me ask you this. Do you guys think Lane Kiffin should leave for any of the openings right now?
Oh, man.
If he's up on their boards right now, LSU, USC.
Definitely know the USC.
What if Florida comes open?
Ooh, Florida. Florida's a maybe, because this is my thing with LSU. I don't know. I get every football team's its own.
I can tell you, LSU would love to land Lane Kiffin.
Do you think he can do, do you think he can transform that offense into what he needs at LSU in time before they fire him?
Yeah. He's already doing it at Ole Miss.
But I mean, they already kind of had a wide open spread type of deal either way. Like, you come in and make a few tweaks and you have Lane Kiffin's offense.
It wasn't that. I mean, it was literally 2 years ago when LSU was kind of doing the same thing. Yeah. I don't think it would take very long at all. And if you look, what was the biggest problem with Ole Miss last year was the defense.
Right.
Do you guys know what Ole Miss's record is right now?
Putting up insane numbers.
8-2.
They're 8-2.
Yeah, it's wild.
One of those losses to Alabama.
Yeah.
Right. They're a pretty dang good team. They handled Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
I think I thought was one of the top 5 hottest teams in the country.
Yeah, and what I said was probably the second best defense in the SEC.
Yeah.
Right.
And they handled them. And with a very depleted offense, we keep talking about Georgia's injuries. They are missing a ton on offense, and Matt Corral is all kinds of banged up, but he still went out there and played. Like, that offense is missing a lot right now.
That's a tough question for me to answer. Like, he's building something nice at Ole Miss. Something wants me to say, hey, keep building something nice at Ole Miss.
Here's the thing with that is he's never going to get fired. Like, he fits with that program so well, and kind of with the attitude they want to have. But I do think there's a cap on
Of
what
what he
you
could
can
do.
do at Ole Miss.
Yeah, there's no cap at LSU if he goes there. He could really go big with LSU. I like Lane Kiffin, the coach, too.
Yeah, that's like Anakin joining the dark side. Like that's
It really is. So LSU versus Florida. I mean, what do you think?
Ooh.
If Florida comes open,
I honestly
might
God
be Florida.
think LSU's a better job.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. Florida is a top 5 job in the country, in my opinion. I think LSU is too. I think LSU is a better job. One, because we kind of spoke about it. LSU doesn't have to recruit against any other in-school
Florida has
or
Florida
in-state
Right.
schools. You have Florida State, Miami, UCF that you're having to go against.
Georgia right next
Georgia
door.
is always coming into the
Yeah.
state of Florida to
always.
scout
And
some
you
people.
talk about Miami. I mean, everyone's always good. Like you have people.
Well, it's like a different
schools in
state.
Texas. I mean, you have
Yeah.
Ohio State coming
Yeah.
down to grab people from
Yeah,
Miami.
Miami's like a whole different state
Yeah.
when they're down there. They come down not to recruit Florida kids, they go down there to recruit Miami kids.
Yeah.
So it's I think Florida is probably just behind LSU in my opinion. I think LSU can afford to pay their coaches a little bit more than what Florida can right now. And also this, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I'm just saying it's the reality, the expectations from the fan base. LSU wants to win.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want to win. Florida, they want to win, and they want to win in a certain way.
Right. Yeah.
I will say this, flip side, which is an easier division to win in? Say it's probably the
Yeah.
East right now.
Yeah, it is.
And you look at the West, Nick Saban's probably not going anywhere for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't know if he's going to make it to the end of that 6 or 7 years remaining on his contract, but he's going to be there. Jimbo Fisher, I think, is building something really nice at Texas A&M. You have to play freaking Mike Leach in Mississippi State every single year. Sam Pittman's going to make Arkansas super annoying to play. Like, that's not a fun division to be
But I
in.
mean, he's already doing it now, though.
he is.
Right,
that's the
but my
thing.
point is the expectations at Florida are to go 11-1, 12-0 and play in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, if you're just still relevant in the SEC West at the end of the year, that's okay. You're doing your job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They love him right now. 8-2.
I mean,
Come
I
on.
think with
They love
LSU,
him.
it's almost the same thing. Like, not exactly. They want to go, of course, like 10-2, 11-1, win national championships. But I think being in that tougher division almost buys you more time. People in Florida, man, if you go in there and you have one team in front of you, it comes down to one game every year, and you're not winning that game 2 years, they're calling for your head.
Yep.
So, like, I don't think that's necessarily the same way at LSU. So
It's a tough one, man.
And just think about the recent history. I mean, I know we always talk about the recent national championships. Is it 2009 for Florida? 2008? 2008 for Florida, yeah.
8. Yeah.
you talk
So
to a
you're-
Florida fan,
yeah,
though, it's yesterday.
Yeah, you're 13 years removed.
Yeah.
And listen, Urban Meyer ain't walking through that door. The next Urban Meyer is not walking through that door. He's one of the
No.
greatest college football coaches of all time. Be happy that you had him.
The
Right.
closest you get to it is Lane Kiffin.
Well, no, but
probably.
literally the reason you hired Dan Mullen, I think, is because he was attached to Urban Meyer during those championships.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That was the reclamation project of that former late 2000s Florida teams.
I think
Was you wanted to get that magic back after Will
Mhm.
Muschamp and Jim McElwain. You wanted to get that magic back with Dan Mullen, and it's kind of exploded.
Yeah, I think he's still a great offensive play caller. I don't know about a head coach though. I don't
I
know.
think that's kind of being proven right now.
Yeah.
He can call the hell out of some plays.
Yeah.
But see, here's my question: is Lane Kiffin the same way? Dan
Yeah,
Mullen's
right.
at Mississippi State. He's bringing them to heights they hadn't been before, and it's all good. He could have coached there forever.
Yeah.
And they would have loved him. You go to Florida, there's expectations.
I think it's a little different with that. I mean, with Lane Kiffin, because he's been where USC, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and the NFL. He's had so much.
But where did it go right in any of those?
No, I'm not saying it went right in any of those
So
situations.
Florida's going to be the one where it goes right
I think it's going right at Ole Miss so far.
so far.
Now I will say that, but I think the opportunity and more experience, it'll play in hand. He's learned from his mistakes in the past.
I mean,
as
the
well.
one real
like Lane Kiffin.
leverage
I do.
moment we saw this year where it's like, all right, eyes are on you. Let's see if you can come play big boy football. They get absolutely smacked by Alabama. Now,
Yeah.
does Alabama do that to a lot of teams? Certainly, but Florida expects to play on that level,
Mhm.
right? And you're in the I don't know if I'll call it panic. I don't know what to call what it was, but the going for it on fourth down as early and as often as he did in that game and not trusting his team or his defense to make stops, that I think kind of put a little bit of chink in the armor, right? So I don't know. I find this utterly fascinating. I think it's the reason why you see Scott Foss not get fired and kind of restructure his deal at Nebraska. It's why I don't think James Franklin's going to move. It's why I don't think Florida's probably going to fire Dan Mullen. Is, do you really want to get in this market right now? And if you do, who's the guy?
Yeah.
I mean,
is there the Kirby Smart, the Mel Tucker, right? Is there that guy who is the proven assistant who's ready to be a head coach?
I think Mel Tucker. Yeah,
I think there
Mel
might
Tucker's
be.
a good coach.
But how many teams are going after Mel Tucker?
Right.
I don't think a lot of teams are, but I think he's one of them coaches.
If Mel Tucker takes a job, you're all of a sudden competing. Michigan State's now in there.
I think there might be one, but I don't think it's there. There's like multiple, and it's actually one that I haven't really heard anywhere, and I'm not sure why. Bill O'Brien.
No, God, no.
Yeah, he's looked bad this
What?
year.
Yeah, no.
I said that a couple of weeks ago with him, and I was like, Christian, what are you talking? And then I seen these last couple of weeks, his play calling is more
he
NFL.
Needs a little bit. He needs to go through the car wash again.
Yeah,
like
he's making NFL play calls, not college play calls.
Yeah, Alabama's offense is Alabama's offense is NFL as hell. Is the best way that I can put it, and not in a good way. Like, yeah, is Bryce Young throwing for just an exorbitant amount of yards every week? Yeah. Certainly. Is that converting into points every week? No.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at like that. And even Nick Saban, you can kind of tell this just listening to Nick Saban talk. I know we got to go to break, but just keep this in mind. And I'm not saying Alabama won't win the national championship, because you guys know me. I love quarterbacks. And if it comes down to where everything's even, I'm going to take the team with the best quarterback. Yeah. I think Bryce Young is probably the best quarterback in college football right now. Nick Saban is super nice to his team right now.
Yeah.
He's propping them up and talking about how well they're playing. And listen, we got a lot of really good players on this team. I like where this team's at. When Nick Saban teams are good, he is just constantly on them.
Yeah, what Belichick did with New England last year.
Yeah, he is constantly just ripping them up.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that, I'm not going to say coddle, but the fact that the message coming out is so upbeat makes me think this is not, as Paul Feinbaum would call it, a vintage Alabama team.
Right.
And maybe that's more so with defense. And I'd say the offensive line's been a little bit suspect for Alabama at times. Wide receivers, running back, and quarterback, awesome. As good as anybody in the country. As good as anybody in the country. But defensive line, linebackers, secondary, offensive line, it's just not, quote, vintage Alabama. So Nick Saban's coming out. He's being a little bit nice to his team, trying to pump them up there. But, well, I guess we're going to find out, because there are some scenarios in which Alabama doesn't make the SEC championship, but there's a lot of them, and it includes Arkansas and Auburn beating Alabama. So that's all you need to know about that. We're probably going to find out how good this Alabama team is coming up in December when they play Georgia in the SEC championship. We got a long way to go till we get there, but just more and more college football coaches, or I guess openings, coming up here. And I think it's going to be a really fascinating season. I want to talk
time of year.
Oh yeah, it's getting early and earlier. I want to talk about why that is, and I want to talk about a few other notes that I've noticed from this college football season next. This is Second Down on ESPN Radio. This is what PJ's gonna be listening to later at his date.
Oh man, I don't know what you mean. I just like
Where are you
button-ups.
taking her?
I just like button-ups, man.
Where are you taking her?
I'm taking myself to basketball
I don't
after
think that's
work,
true.
and then might like roll by, get some dinner on the way home. That's pretty much it.
There it is.
I mean, just basketball, man. Got love for the game. That's it.
All right. Well, since PJ's not going
So
to
let's
tell
get
us
out of there.
who he's going out with
Nah,
or
he's
where
not.
they're going, because he can't trust us.
Nothing to do with that, man. I'd let y'all know if I did, for
I
sure.
think Matt Berry from SportsCenter brought up an interesting point. Seems like there have been more field stormings this year in college football. I mean, we got two for one at Baylor, Oklahoma this weekend
Yeah.
because they had to clear everybody off the field to kick a field goal, which actually matters for like the fourth of the tiebreakers in the Big 12. But they had to get everybody off, kick the field goal, and then they stormed the field again. Lincoln Riley got all up in his feels. Why do y'all think it is? I have a theory.
Oh, I know why.
Why?
COVID last year.
That's what a lot of people
Yeah.
think. I that might be it. I do have a different theory, but yeah, being cooped up
Yeah.
for all those years, or for a year and a half, almost 2 years,
Yeah.
finally getting back out there. There's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Why do you think, PJ?
I think that's a big part of it for sure. I don't know. I'm interested to hear yours because I don't have any big mind blowing theories. I think that's a big part of it. My only opinion on it is like, I don't know. I think I think the Baylor Texas one was. I mean, the Baylor Oklahoma one was a little wild. I mean, I guess they're unbeaten, but
Yeah.
I kind of look at games like that and I'm like, I'm not really sure. Like for instance, when and you're gonna say you're getting in my feels, whatever. But like for instance, when number 2 Iowa beat number 3 Penn State and then they stormed the field, like what? Why? Yeah, we're a top 5 team, but you're number 2 in the country right now. What? Why are you storming the field? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like huge upset things like that. I get it, but I don't know. I'm all for storming the field 90% of the time, and I'm happy there are more. I guess I just wish they'd be for some bigger games, some bigger wins, some bigger upsets.
All right. So my theory on this is the fact that there have been more AP top 25 losses this year than in the history of the AP poll. Do I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we really didn't know how to rank teams coming out of COVID? We didn't really know how to actually grade who's good, who's bad, what the impact of super seniors was going to be, the impact of a team like Michigan State going out and just completely flipping their roster with the transfer portal with no transfer penalty, right? Do we really know? But the fact that you have had so many losses, and I think you brought up a good point there, PJ, and I'm not to rub salt in the wound, but Penn State and Iowa, was that 3-4?
It was either 2-3 or 3-4.
When that game happened, right?
think,
And now Penn State's unranked and Iowa's what?
20-something.
Yeah.
And
So
that-
it's missed rankings is why it's there, but it doesn't matter if I'm at a college and my team beats a top 5 team, unless you're like one of like 5 schools, you're gonna storm the field. So I think a lot of like missed rankings with a lot of these teams, on top of more upsets than we've ever seen because of the misplaced rankings, has led to it. It doesn't matter who you're playing. If you beat them, you storm the field.
Right. So
If they're top 5, it doesn't matter like if they're like somebody messed up and ranked Kansas in the top 5. If your team doesn't traditionally beat top 5 teams and you beat them, you storm the field. I mean, look at it. Arkansas beat Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is atrocious.
Is atrocious now, but I mean, like you said, with the rankings and whatnot,
Right.
who knew that?
So you storm the field.
Right.
I think that's perfectly acceptable. Now, I am kind of with you. If you're a team that's supposed to have, quote, been there, done that, i.e. like an Iowa, if you're, the number 3 team or number 2 team in the country at that point, and you beat somebody who's ranked lower than you,
and
you storm the field, I think that's weird. I think it'd be like Georgia storming the field after beating number 8 Arkansas.
It's not like the fans are going to think of this either, but
And
we had a backup
Clemson, I
quarterback
get
in the
it.
game
No,
for
Clemson
three-
fans, I
for
get it.
3
You
quarters.
storm the field after every win. We get it. Whatever.
Yeah. What? Okay. That's like the opposite of what the SEC did with their rule, right?
Yeah,
It's like the SEC rule, don't do it, and then Clemson's like, we're going to do it every week.
every week. Y'all
Why
come on
not?
down. We're gonna celebrate. You're supposed, like Dan Mullen said, man. You're supposed to celebrate winning. We gotta take a quick break. We'll come back with more right here on Second Down. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Cam, is there anything from the association that we need to be updated on?
What association?
The association.
The only one.
Oh, the NBA?
Yes.
Nothing.
Wait, you guys
Nothing
don't
at
call
all.
it the association?
No.
I
Is
mean,
that
yeah,
an old person thing?
Yes.
I've heard it.
Yes.
All
Yes,
I
it
know is that apparently the Bulls somehow are good now. DeMar DeRozan's playing well, and the Lakers are bad.
The
So-
Bulls are the best team in the NBA. Yeah.
The Bulls are the best team in the NBA. Like
Yeah, they're-
record-wise, or you actually think they're
No,
the best
like,
team in the NBA?
Not record-wise, I think they're a game behind Golden State, but I actually think they're the best team in the NBA. DeMar DeRozan, I didn't even know he could shoot threes that consistent. He's definitely worked on his game, and he's like, if you had to give an MVP, it would probably be DeMar DeRozan.
He's scoring like 27 a game right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Right
kind of insane.
now-
We passed up on him for Westbrook.
This is some free advice to the people out there. So you're saying they're the best team in the NBA?
Yeah.
You think
yeah.
the Chicago Bulls?
Yeah, right
Like
now.
right now,
yeah.
if you had to pick a team that was going to win the title, not going with your fandom, like you're like
Yeah.
math-wise, you'd pick the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
All right, you can get the Chicago Bulls right now via Vegas Insiders for plus 4,000. They're going for the same odds as the Atlanta Hawks.
Hey.
So you're saying you should do that because
Heck
right now the top five are the Brooklyn Nets, the LA Lakers, Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, and Utah Jazz.
Well, I wouldn't pick Lakers. LeBron isn't healthy. The Nets.
Well, I mean, but the finals aren't right now.
Yeah, I mean, nah. If they had the finals right now, the Chicago
Well, we're
Bulls
not talking
would
about
win
right
it
now. We're
all.
talking about the whole season. Like
He
LeBron's
has-
going to come back.
I don't know. LeBron has years like this though, where if he gets hurt, he just kind of keeps getting hurt, right? Where like
Yeah.
normally if he's
I don't know.
healthy,
I
he
would
stays
disagree
healthy
with
all
that.
year.
I think typically, like, I don't know, like prior to last year, if LeBron had seasons where he actually got hurt, I think that was kind of
Yeah.
his thing. Is like he's a tank. Like the only time we'd ever
Uh-huh.
seen him really quote get hurt was cramping.
But I will say this: his 3 years in LA, I think this is year 4. That's the most he's ever been hurt. Year
Well,
1,
it makes
done
sense,
last
right?
year and this year.
It makes sense, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he's
getting old.
He's almost
Yeah,
40.
He's getting
Like,
older.
it would make sense.
But
that it
he
starts
will be
falling
playing
off.
this Friday though against the Boston Celtics, the best rivalry ever.
I would
ever.
disagree with that. I'd say the Miami Heat and Dallas Mavericks probably the
Oh Lord,
Wow.
shots
best
fired.
Best rivalry that or
Shots fired.
that Zaza Pachulia versus the Boston Celtics.
So true.
Shots fired.
Paul Pierce in a wheelchair.
You kidding me? You got the
That
Warriors,
was the Lakers.
the Warriors and the Raptors rivalry. What do you-
Oh Lord, but
From the Raptors, shout out Jay. We got to go. Just a few more seconds here on the show. 3 and Out coming up next. BJ Bennett, Ben Troop, and Kevin Thomas next right here on ESPN Radio. We'll talk to everyone tomorrow.